And I'm just thinking, my God, this is so stupid. In 2021, my sprinkler is watering the grass while it's raining. I need a smart sprinkler system. Today we're going to take a look at the Yardian Pro Smart Sprinkler Controller. Now, I recently changed out my old dumb sprinkler controller with this new Yardian Pro, and it wasn't all smooth sailing. We had a few hiccups, we'll call them. Pissed off the wife pretty bad at one point, but I'm going to tell you all about that and ultimately if I think it's worth getting something like this for your smart home. Let's go. Sponsored by Skillshare. Yo, what's up guys? Thanks so much for joining me. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Shane and this channel is all about building an easy smart home using Apple's HomeKit platform with new videos released every Sunday. So be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon because we're doing some cool stuff with HomeKit every week right here. So a smart sprinkler system is actually something I've thought about for a while. My thinking is I can at least save some money and not waste water by watering the grass when I don't really need to. So I was pretty excited when Aeon Matrix, that's the company that makes the Yardian Pro, offered to send me this smart sprinkler so I could test it out and share it with you here on the channel. So big thanks to Aeon Matrix for sending this over. Again, just to clarify, they did send me this free of charge, but as always, this is an honest review. There are no strings attached, and if I don't like something, I'm gonna let you know. Now, this company does sell their original Yardian as well as the more recent Yardian Pro, which we have here today. They're both offered in 8 and 12 zone options and both support rain sensors, flow sensors, and come with a 2-year limited warranty. Now, they do sell an outdoor enclosure separately and as a part of a bundle with the Yardian Pro if you do need to use this outdoors. So, out of the box, we have the controller itself. It has a nice looking design. We have the user guide with our HomeKit code, labeling stickers, and a few screws for installation and your power brick. First thing to note is the Ethernet port on the side. This is a great option. This means you can hardwire this for the best internet connection. This is especially nice if you have a weak Wi-Fi signal out in your garage or wherever you have to mount this. I actually have pretty good Wi-Fi coverage in my garage, so that's how I'll be connecting this to my network. And these do require that 2.4 gigahertz band if you use the Wi-Fi option. The Yardian Pro supports Alexa, Google Assistant, HomeKit, and IFTTT. So it's always nice when a product supports all the major platforms. Now, if we take off the cover, we'll notice our HomeKit code, our power jack, and all the quick connections for our sprinkler wires. There's also a reboot and a Wi-Fi button. You can get the 12 or the 8 zone models. If you have a huge property, they say you can use multiple Yardians together seamlessly. Now through the Yardian website, you can actually search to see if there are any rebates offered through your city and water provider. But from what I understand, even if there are, oftentimes you gotta jump through a lot of hoops in order to take advantage of these. But, it might be something worth checking out and considering. It's always nice to save some money when you can. Now on their website, you can also look up the local watering restrictions for your area as well as user guides, tutorials, and all kind of information regarding the features and capabilities. So I really love when a company puts out a lot of helpful information for their current and potential customers, which is what they've done with their website. All right, so now let's go back in time some. I'm going to show you the actual installation, and then we're going to come back and discuss the Yardian app and HomeKit to create programs and scheduling for watering your grass using this smart sprinkler controller. Now it says first thing to do is take a picture of your current setup and wiring, so I'm definitely going to do that for a reference. All right, so I got a few good photos. I'm gonna use my little sticker pack here I got with the new one just to mark these. Alright, so got the old one down. Now we got to get the new one installed up there. Okay, so I guess we got like 3 screws right here we're supposed to screw in, plus one for right there. So this doesn't have anywhere for these to come through. so I don't know if you can see that, but what I did, I didn't really like the way the wires and stuff came out of the wall, and there's no plate that came with this. So I used this plate that was from my previous one, put some holes in it, kind of rigged it up so that I could put this on top, and that way, you know, the wires won't stick out as bad. There's not like a hole in the wall showing, so hopefully this will look a little bit better. I wish they would have had like a plate that, you know, that could have gone on there first, but good. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
All the stickers that I put on there have fallen off, almost all of them, so good thing I took that photo. I will use that and make sure I get all these connected in the right spots. All right, next we got to plug in the power adapter. All right, so put the cover on. You can see the light right here is flashing now. Got it plugged in, and I'm gonna open up the app and we're gonna see if we can get this set up pretty easily. All right, so I've downloaded the Yardian app. Let's open that up. I'll go ahead, it says there's an update, so I'm gonna go ahead and update it. I actually said they've got a user guide and a video right here, so I probably should have opened up the app first. Maybe it would have had a little video to help me out. Let's go ahead and create an account. I check my email for a verification. Checking my mail. Should have came through already. And the email went to my junk box, my junk mail. So, if you don't find the email, it went to your junk box. Alright, so I'm going to confirm that. I should be okay now. Successfully confirmed. Alright, and I'm going to go back to the app. Sign in. Send me notifications. Okay, allow. Tap continue. Home name. Save. Alright, so I'll tap new device. Add new device. Next. Please enter your YID. Alright, it says this is on the device, this ID, so let me look for that. That's this ID right here, so punch that in. Next. Location. Alright. So this is cool. I can actually type in who provides my water and all that kind of stuff. And I'll save that. Yardian Pro 8 zone. Looks like it found it. I'm going to choose add. And let's hope everything connects like it's supposed to. Alright, let's see. Check your Yardian LED status. It is flashing. I think we're good. We'll hit ready. Please open Apple Home App and Yardian as accessory. Okay. Alright, so now I need to, I guess, open the Home App, so I'm going to do that. Let's go ahead in here and just tap on new accessory. Love seeing that. Status LED has changed a little bit. Looks like a solid green now, so I would imagine that's a good thing. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and put this, let's do the garage. Well, yeah, I'll put this in the garage. Continue. Yardian Pro. Actually, I'm gonna call this sprinkler. Let's keep it simple. Continue. Oh, that's pretty cool. So again, this is my first sprinkler system. So I can actually go in here and name each zone. Now, I'm gonna do this later because I have no idea which zone is which, so I'm gonna tinker with it and figure out each one. That's really awesome. So that means, in theory, I'll be able to say, you know, Siri, turn on zone 1, or turn on the front yard sprinkler system, or whatever, something like that. So that's pretty neat. And there you go, it is done. Open up that Yardian app and see what we have in here. Hit OK. Alright. Start scanning for valves automatically. OK. It says the following zones will be enabled: 2, 4, and 5. I don't know why my other zones aren't, so might have to do some digging there. But yeah, everything's connected. I'm going to dig through this app some more, go test all my zones, and I'll be back. Okay, so earlier I mentioned that this wasn't all smooth sailing. Let me explain that a little bit. About 2 weeks after I installed the sprinkler system, I was at work and I got a call from my wife saying that sprinkler was on and had been on for many hours and our water bill was going to be outrageous and it's all my fault. This new stupid smart home sprinkler just ruined everything. Well, I came home from work, cut the water off, and I began investigating. Long story short, I ended up having 1 or 2 valves that needed to be replaced. They just weren't working properly. And then on top of that, I discovered some of the wiring for my sprinkler system, like underground, wasn't done right and had started shorting out. So I called in a friend, a pro with some real experience in these irrigation systems, and he helped us fix our problems. The valves, that's just one of those things that can go bad after many years of use, which is what happened in our case. And the wires, well, that was just craftsmanship from whoever originally installed our irrigation system. So it turned out that our new smart sprinkler controller was not to blame for any of these issues, despite what my wife believed, and maybe still does. In fact, I even had the professional that we called to come help. He even confirmed and assured us that it was not an issue with our smart home devices. Now let's talk about the Yardian app. The app gives you some nice information on the home screen. You can immediately see that your device is online. You can go into the settings and check any rain sensor or flow sensor that you may have connected. Again, I don't have either of those. You can enable and disable any zones here and also scan to automatically detect the valves or zones in your irrigation system. All right, and then if we go back, you'll see the watering schedule with the weather for the week. I really like this display. You can see when your system is scheduled, whether that's through a smart program, manual, or conditional program with the little colored icons. You can set your skip rules, either using the chance of rain, a connected rain sensor, manual skip, or low temperature to prevent freezing. You can check the water restrictions in your area, and below that you can see your past water usage, which is really cool. Then there's this message section, which I've actually used a lot. You can go here and see when exactly each zone has started and stopped watering in the past. Obviously, the video section won't apply since our model doesn't have the camera built in. The control tab is where you can manually set your system to run. Just choose which zones and for how long, and then press the start button. The yard section is where you see each of your zones. You can see which program each zone is scheduled in. You can set the photo, which I like. Here at the bottom, you can check the watering history for that specific zone. And then you can customize all the information like plant type, sprinkler heads in that zone, soil type, slope, sun exposure. All this is going to be pretty important if you end up using the smart program feature. Now, speaking of that, let's go back and tap the program tab. Here you can set smart, manual, or conditional programs. Now, Smart Program is going to automatically calculate the most efficient watering schedule based on your zone profile, which is what we just covered, the weather data, weather restrictions in your area, and your preferences for each zone. So I would not use this unless you have accurately completed the profiles for each zone. All this is just to say that this thing is way smarter than me for sure and probably knows better than I do what's best for my yard. Now, I haven't played with this too much because I still need to accurately complete those zone profiles. So what I've been doing is I just created a manual program that waters each zone for a set number of minutes each day. Then I've set my skip rules to skip watering when the chance of rain is over 70%. What I really love is that you actually get a notification on your phone when your sprinkler skips watering because of any of your rules actually, which is really cool. And lastly, a conditional program allows you to create a watering schedule with a trigger event such as a specific temperature or things like that. You can use these in addition to smart programs or manual programs for your zones. Any conditional programs have a higher priority than the smart or manual programs, so if there's ever a conflict between the programs, the conditional will override the others. If you tap on the menu in this tab, you can set water hammer reduction, specify specific hours that your smart program can run, and change seasonal adjustment settings. And again, the video tab here doesn't apply to us since this model doesn't include a camera. Now, I'm sure you've all been waiting for the HomeKit integration part. Let's go ahead and check that out. Let's find my sprinkler. The first thing you'll see is that it says scheduled here, which I don't think I've ever noticed before with any other accessory. This just lets me know that it's scheduled to run sometime in the future based on those settings that we set up in the Yardian app. If I long press the tile, we'll see all of my zones. I can easily turn any of them on anytime and choose how long I'd like for it to run. If I choose more than one, the others will say waiting and will run after the current one stops. I can of course use Siri also to turn on any of my sprinkler zones if I want. Now, aside from being able to use Siri, one of the big advantages of our accessories being HomeKit compatible is the ability to integrate them with the rest of our smart home. Now, I did notice that the Home app does not give me the ability to access the sprinkler in any of my automations, which is kind of a bummer. But if you use any of the other third-party HomeKit apps like Controller or Home Plus 5, you can actually do it. I actually made a video last week about my favorite third-party HomeKit apps, which include these, so I'll put a link above in the card somewhere here if you want to check that out. But using these, I can create automations. For example, turn on my light strips blue when the sprinkler starts. Or you can even include your sprinkler zones in your morning scene, for example, if you want. So, what are my final thoughts and would I recommend this? Is it worth it? What are the pros and cons? Well, there is a lot that I like. Skipping cycles when rain is in the forecast, being able to monitor and control the watering programs from anywhere, having the manual buttons on the device so anyone can still control it, right there without having to use the app. All those are things that I really like. The controller still functions based on the preset schedules, even if it's not connected to the internet, so that's nice. And speaking of internet, having the ability to hardwire this using an Ethernet cable is a really nice option. They have all the important certifications, a 2-year limited warranty. It supports all the major smart home platforms. They have an extremely informative website, which is definitely worth looking through if you get one of these or are thinking about it. Now, one thing I mentioned, they do have that 2-year limited warranty, which is nice. I couldn't find any phone number for support, which is kind of a bummer, but they do have email addresses and forums and all kinds of other information, and they promised a reply within 24 hours if you do submit a ticket or whatever through that email address or through their support line. Also, the Yardian Pro is the most affordable sprinkler controller for HomeKit that's available right now, at least from what I can tell. Now, this does only support up to 12 zones, so if you have more, you'll have to take a look at another option, such as the Rain Machine or the Ratio or Ratio 3 that can give you up to 16 zones. Now, I do really like how easy it was to set up. I really didn't have any issues there, but the one thing I would like to see is a better, maybe a more guided process for setting up each of my zone profiles. I know some of the other smart sprinklers probably do a little bit better job at this. Like I said, I'm no expert by any means when it comes to my yard, so it would have been nice to see the app kind of walk me through, selecting the soil type and all those other attributes and just give me a little more information on all that. Like I said earlier, if you don't set up these zone profiles at least somewhat accurately, the smart program feature will probably not work very well, and that just wasn't really super obvious to me at first. Now, with that said, you do have a whole lot of control if you are really into your yard and you are a lot more knowledgeable than me at all this stuff. You have a lot of control and you can really do a lot with this app. And speaking of being an expert or not being an expert in my case, let me tell you about today's sponsor, Skillshare. You can actually learn all kinds of new stuff with Skillshare, like gardening, landscaping, or plant growing. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes and topics on all kinds of awesome stuff no matter what you're into. So for me, obviously I'm into making YouTube videos, and I recently found a class called YouTube Success. Script, shoot, and edit with MKBHD, taught by the great tech reviewer Marquez Brownlee. It's been amazing to learn and kind of get behind the scenes tips and lessons from experts on all kinds of different topics with Skillshare. It's curated specifically for learning, meaning there's no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes just like this one. It's less than 10 bucks a month with an annual subscription, but Skillshare is going to hook y'all up. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. Thanks so much to Skillshare for supporting this channel and sponsoring today's video. So I installed the Yardian Pro about a month ago. Obviously, I can't say how it's done for my yard or my water bill over a long period of time, but so far I've really enjoyed having this. I'm excited to use it, throughout the summer and really explore some of those smart programming capabilities a little further and see how it does for my yard. Overall, just upgrading to a smart sprinkler from a dumb one is pretty amazing. If nothing else, just having the ability to skip watering days, if the chance of rain is too high, is well worth it for me. And having the ability to control and program the sprinklers from anywhere is really great. Plus, who wouldn't want to be able to turn on your sprinkler system with Siri? It's freaking awesome. And if you want to see more awesome HomeKit stuff, check out these videos on screen right here. Subscribe for new HomeKit videos every Sunday morning. Become a channel member if you want to support the channel even further and get access to some cool perks. Thanks so much for watching today. And until next time, we'll see y'all later.